Hello, welcome to a visit with Nana and Papa. I'm Nana.
I'm Papa.
And we're coming to you from Austin, Texas. And it's actually sort of sunny, sort of cloudy. It comes and goes. What? The sun has been peeking out.
Okay, it's bright cloudy. There's a layer of clouds over the sun, which is blinding us.
Which it was very gray and yucky for quite some time, and we had a really bad storm last night.
And another one is on the way.
Yeah, it's that time of year.
It'll be here tonight.
But we need the rain, so just keep it coming. Keep that rain coming. Let's fill up the lake so that we are not in drought. That would make me very happy.
They could use a few more impoundments. But Texas and their water laws, man, these people are freaking crazy. Did you know in Texas you can go to jail for having a water barrel that catches rainwater? Because that rainwater belongs to somebody who would naturally get that from runoff. Yep. You cannot collect rainwater because it's prepossessed.
Prepossessed.
Huh?
It's definitely, yeah. Water runoff is considered already owned by somebody because somebody has the water rights for every area of runoff.
I wonder if that's like having one of those little demon babies that never quits crying. It's prepossessed.
Anyway, so we're gonna go. I'm gonna try because I've had a little bit of feedback saying they wanted the knitting to be together or they wanted more knitting. So we're gonna try something. We'll get a lot of. We'll still talk a lot. We're just gonna block it. So if you're wanting to talk about the knitting, you can just watch that, or you can fast forward and I'll try to put timestamps when the knitting's over if you just don't care about knitting. Okay? Anyway, let's start with what I'm wearing. I will put photos in because it's just easier than moving the camera and like lifting but this is a test knit that I finished for Samba Knits. I really like it. I think Jim likes it too.
They're beautiful. Nice. It got a nice feel to it too. I think she's gonna not be so happy with this when it gets hotter because this pretty dense fabric.
It is. The pattern called for a lighter weight yarn. I decided to hold double to meet gauge and to get closer, and I'm really happy that I did because I'm happy with how it turned out. But I do think the way that I made it, it is definitely not a summer wear unless I'm wearing it in the house when the air conditioning is blowing. In that case, because of where my office desk is, it's right where that cold air kind of coalesces, I guess is the right word.
It congregates at her feet.
Yeah, so it's not that bad, but I would not want to wear it outdoors in the summer in Austin because I did hold fingering weight double throughout. So I am going to go over, and hopefully at this moment I'll put in front of me a picture of me wearing this sweater so you can see the colors, and I'm going to go from the neck down. So this is the Tartella tee. It is not yet released. I will, when it is released, I will announce to y'all, hey, this pattern is available, and I'll show it again. But
maybe even add a link that you can just go and purchase it from.
Yeah, when it's ready. Right now I can't because it's still in testing. But
yep.
So the first yarn is Art Yarns in Ensemble Light, which is a 50% cashmere, 50% silk. So soft. I don't know the colorway. This is really, really deep stash. Like, I can't even tell you how long ago. I do know that I bought it when we were still in Wyoming and he was still working for Baker Hughes. So if that gives you any idea, it's
probably
a while
not.
ago.
Most of these people have no
I'm just
idea
saying
when that was.
It was well over 10 years ago.
That would be like 2012-ish, 2010, 11, 12.
Somewhere in there. Anyway, and then the next yarn here, this is Suburban Stitcher in her fingering in the color Oslo. And, oh, I forgot to say, I used 35 grams in this one, but I actually used the yarn also on my sleeves as the ribbing. So the combination of here, here, and here was 35 grams. However, it's the most I used in any color, and it's because I used it in all 3 places.
Because it's so soft, she used it in all 3 places. Because if it's going to snuggle up on your skin, it ought to be soft.
It ought to be, and it is super soft. So the rest of these, I don't like 1 or 2 at the very widest part of my body. I went to 33 grams or 34 grams, but most of them are around 30, 27, 30, 29, 28 grams. I will have I do have exact grams in my Ravelry project, and I will link that project so that you can find it.
And what was the total weight on that? I think it was like 268, 269.
No, that's this one.
Oh, that's that one.
I haven't weighed this one. So then the next color that I used is TedKnitsUK in his Umber colorway, and I used 23 grams. Then Suburban Stitcher I used in this section here. It's slub held with mohair instead of fingering double. And that one I only use, or I don't know how much I used. I don't have a weight because I wound them together for a different project and then ended up ripping that project back out. And so I can't give you the weight of how much of the slub and how much of the mohair that I used.
See, the problem with slub is you can't use a deep pillar because it'll ruin your sweater. But the positive side, all those pills will just start looking like slub, and they'll look like the whole freaking sweater is slubbed.
I love how it wears. I have a sweater that's in slub and mohair, and I love it. I wear it all the time. I don't think it looks bad at all.
It doesn't. I like it.
It's nice. All right, so then the next color, and they're also in Oslo, but it's a little darker because I'm holding the mohair with the slub. I think it came out a little darker. And then the next color is Sandnes Garn Sunday in the Rust colorway. I used 31 grams. Then Barnyard Knits, 31 grams, and I do not know the colorway. The next is Urban Girl Yarns, and I have 33 grams, and that's the Kava colorway, which is one of the best brown yarns on the market, in my opinion. She knows how to get beautiful colors. The next color I think is Hue Loco, but it could be Barnyard Knits. It could be Spun Right Round. It's one of those 3. I do not know. And I have no idea what colorway. It is a leftover from another project, but I'm not even sure which project, and I just don't know. But I used 28 grams of it. The next one is Stranded Dyeworks.
Is that like yarn dementia or something?
No, it's just deep stash where you didn't keep the yarn wrapper with the yarn, and you've had it for so long, and it was so long ago that you used it that you don't remember what it was, but it looks really good. It's this one right here. I think it's the perfect color.
Yeah, it's good.
I just don't know what it is. I don't know what manufacturer or brand.
Good thing you're not making that sweater twice.
I can't. I don't have enough of the yarn.
You can't buy any of it either.
A lot of it you can't because it's no longer made. This Art Yarns is discontinued yarn. The Oslo is still available, and I can still get Umber. This is a commercial yarn, which is, I don't know if they still have that color though. But yeah, it's a lot of it I can't. I'm pretty sure that one of the Barnyard Knits was a one of a kind, like they made it, but it wasn't what they were going for, so they sold it as a one of kind. Anyway.
So now you're down to that one.
So then Stranded Dyeworks is my next one, and it's in coffee bean, which y'all can't see, but you will on the screen, I hope. That's this color. I also love that brown. See, this is Kava, which I think is just
they
beautiful.
can't see what you're pointing at.
So. I'm going to put a picture.
Well,
I'm showing you so that you can see the Stranded. That's that one. This is Kava. Don't you think that's a really good brown?
I like that one better.
I like both. Anyway, then after and of the coffee bean I used 26 grams, which is awesome because that means I still have enough to use the coffee bean with the patisserie that I have on hand, and I'm going to make some mittens, and I do colorwork mittens. Do you want to see patisserie? It's right there. I'll show it. I might show you out later, but I think they're going to look really good. It's the creamy color that's behind the rust or the gold color. Anyway, then after that is for sure Spun Right Round in the On the Rocks colorway, and I have enough of the On the Rocks colorway to make a tee, so I will be making another tee for me in this colorway only. I love that color because it reminds me of the red rocks in Colorado and Wyoming. It makes me think of when we were sitting on the porch in
Chuck Higgins.
Yeah. And
where I wrote Red Rocks.
Yep, where you wrote the song.
It's actually called Higgins Heaven, but everybody called it Red Rocks, so you know.
Do you remember any of this song?
Well, probably. I guess we could add a little thing. I did a copy of that song. No, I did a version of that song for Chuck's funeral, so we can just add that at the bottom.
I'll put a link. I'll put a link up here if I can figure out how, and it's still on the website, I think, on YouTube. I don't know, but anyway, it reminds me of being there. And then the next is Brooklyn Tweed Peary, which this is my first time using Brooklyn Tweed Peary, and I'm excited to knit with it again. It's a non-superwash, I think, yarn, but it's really nice. This one and this one are Brooklyn Tweed Peary, and the yarn is nice and round and it doesn't split, and it was just really a joy to knit with. And the problem is that I'm not sure. I think this one is loam and this one is hickory, but it could be the other way around. I don't know. Don't know.
You should look at the camera more.
Yes, I know. Then there's sweater less. I can't help it. I gotta look and see. And then in between my Brooklyn Tweed Peary colors that I don't know which one is which is deep dyed yarns, which it has sparkle in it. It's the only sparkle in this sweater, but I really like it. My problem is I don't remember what colorway is. So maybe Stephanie from Deep Dyed Yarns, maybe one day she'll tell me what colorway it was. But if you haven't tried her yarn, I love her Figment. Figment is her yarn that has the sparkle in it, and I just think it's so nice. It's not over the top sparkly, it just adds a little sparkle, a little joy to your life. And then
kind of like sun reflected off from running water. It's not a glare. It's just every once in a while, the waves, the ripples catch the sun just enough to give you a little blink. Yeah,
I like it.
Kind of like that.
And then the last variegated yarn is, I think, another Barnyard Knits colorway. But again, it could be Hue Loco. I think it's Barnyard Knits. And I don't know that colorway either, but I really like it. It's one of my favorites. And that one had 30 grams. And then the very last colorway is black, and that black is Sandnes Garn in their Sunday. Now, I'm gonna say I know the Sunday has its place, and I'm not saying anything against Sandnes Garn in any way. But that black made me mad because there were no breaks in it. But throughout that skein, or the 50-gram ball of yarn, constantly the threads, one of the plies in the yarn had a loop that was sticking out.
It'd be all twisted, and then there'd be a little hump.
I took photos, so at least one photo, and maybe I'll put it in here. But that really upset me. I realize it's commercial yarn, whatever, but
well, you would expect it not to happen in commercial yarn because they have more
control,
quality control. A hand-spun yarn,
you might have that, but it was just
crap.
It was horrible, and it was just, to me, it was no different than knitting and finding those knots every time you turn around and having knots in your yarn. I didn't have knots, I just had random single loops of one of the strands.
Didn't you tell me that it's acceptable to have like 5 knots per?
Yeah, commercial yarn companies will replace your yarn if there's more than 5 knots in the skein. If there's less than 5 knots, typically companies that like the major brands, they will come back and tell you, well, there were less than 5 knots, that's within standards.
Yeah, but they made the standards. If somebody actually got to slap them across the mug every time they found a knot, they dropped out 0. No knots is acceptable. No knots. Because if I got to, there's a knot, I think that would change their opinion on acceptable.
I must say that's one
When
of the...
she hits a knot, she's a sailor. She's no longer Air Force veteran. She is a sailor. Because she does not feel very fondly about knots.
Like, one of my favorite things about, like, I want one day I would love to buy yarn. I can't remember. I will put the name of the dyer here. I really like her podcast, but she makes these jumbo skeins, and these jumbo skeins are enough to make a sweater for me. All in one, no knots, no, just all. In other words, she's taking it from a cone or buying
only having to weave in the beginning and the end.
And that is so cool, which is one of the reasons that if you're doing a fingering weight t-shirt, if you do helical knitting, all you have are your ends at the top and at the bottom and on your sleeves. No other ends to weave in, which is really nice because, you know, but you do have to helical knit. So, there's that.
I don't.
No, you don't. So that's all the yarns that were used in this project. What I would do different. I'm not going to give any of the instructions away because that's not fair to the designer, and I love this pattern so much. Will I make it again? Absolutely. Will I make it again a lot? Probably. Will this become my default way of making a circular yoke sweater? Absolutely. It's the first time I've ever used these instructions to make a sweater, and I love it a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot.
The sun is breaking out. We're going to get brighter.
Brighter. Sorry about that. But the thing that I would do different, I always go down a needle size in my ribbing because my ribbing stitches are bigger than my stockinette stitches, and I just think they look nicer if they are similar in size to the stitches. I think that in this pattern, she has you not use a smaller needle, and I think I would like it better because that would have moved this down to like here, right? If I had done this size she said to, my neckband would be a little looser. And I think that I would have been happier than having it up here. And that was my mistake, not the pattern. So basically I would follow the pattern. That is the only, well, okay. So that's a modification I made, was this, to use a smaller needle in the ribbing. And I did the same thing here. I used a smaller needle in the ribbing here. I would not do that. I would follow the instructions as far as that goes. I also modified that I added more knitting before the sleeve ribbing, and I added more stripes to the sweater. So I added at least 3, but I think 4, because the sweater is designed to be cropped, which meant it would have stopped here. And you know I don't like my sweaters to stop here. And by there I mean it would have stopped basically above my waistband in my clothes, or right at my waistband, and I want my sweaters to go a little further than I want to sit down and not have the sweater come up and people see my backside.
You want to be able to reach up and not have it go all the way up to your
yes, very much so.
armpit.
So I made those modifications. When I knit it again, I will make the same modification for the length. I love the length the way that I did it. and hopefully you can see it in the photo. What I will do is I will add another stripe to my next one so that the sleeves come down one more stripe. I think I would like that a little bit more than having it as short as it is, just personally. Unless I lose a ton of weight, which, you know, maybe it could happen. But if I lose a bunch of weight, then maybe I won't mind it. But right now, I just feel I would feel more comfortable if it was further down. And then, the next one I make for sure, I'm going to do fingering not held double and just adjust which size I knit based on the gauge I get. So I'm going to do a fingering weight sweater, and I may just, which is what I'm thinking, instead of striping it, I may just make it out of this, because y'all know I want to make a sweater out of my Thrive. So I may do another one of these out of this, but I'm also thinking something else for this, so we'll talk about that later. So that's it for that sweater. Any thoughts on this that you have? Any questions, things, comments?
No question, no, other than I like it, no comments.
I also finished this sweater this week.
Yeah, that's the rhubarb pie, strawberry rhubarb pie.
That color is coming out exactly true on there, from what I can see. Does it look accurate to you?
Yeah, pretty close. Very pretty sweater.
And
it's soft. I like soft.
This does not have a pattern. However, well, I wrote whatever. I just did my own thing. I did put most of the instructions in my Ravelry project. I do know I cast on 100. I did my ribbing, and then I did my short rows. And how I like to do my short rows is I do them along the ribbing. So I do the shortest one, turn, come back to the next one, turn, go back a little bit further, turn, go back to the other side to go a little further, and I just keep getting bigger until I come up to here, and then I start knitting in the round. And so if you do that, all of your short row turns end up right on the edge of the ribbing, which makes them not visible, which I really like.
So basically, if you hold it up and let them all see it, if you like this sweater and you would like to make this sweater, in the comments tell her to actually write the pattern out, and maybe
Well, I'm just saying the instructions are in my Ravelry.
Yes, but if you actually wrote the pattern, then they could just go and get the pattern and not have to search through all the.
Okay, maybe I'll write it up and I'll just put it
thought.
out there.
It's just a thought, loved one.
Anyway.
Good thought.
Yes, but yes, dear. I also, when I split for sleeves, I think I split later than I should have when I tried it on. I wish that I had split sooner and made a longer cuff, but I like where it landed, so we're okay there.
Kelly Clarkson has a new album just released.
He did weigh this for me, so it did come out 269 grams. Just guessing, I would say that I used probably 170 grams of the La Bien-Aimée sock and have about 30 grams left. And of the 100 grams of the Mohair, probably used, 80? Something like that. I don't know exactly. But I don't have exact measurements, but I definitely did not use all of them. I could have made it a little longer. It's not cropped, but it's not super long. Wouldn't you say it's just normal?
Normal. It's about where you were with most of them.
And I love how it came out. I'm very, very happy with the Chapel Hill. And because I bought the Chapel Hill as a duet, I have 2 more skeins of the Chapel Hill in the regular fingering weight superwash merino, and so I will probably make those into a different tee, and I'm just not sure what. I may make it into something we're going to discuss later. But that's it for my finished objects. Any comments about that one?
No.
Okay, now we're gonna get into problems.
Whips.
We're gonna get into our whips and frogging. And
Rip it.
Okay, welcome back. Hopefully maybe I'll put in something there to make it not so harsh. But so for my whip, we all know I was going to make the Shima sweater. I'll put the designer up here. It'll definitely be in the notes below, but I'll try and put it on screen. The Shima sweater is a unique construction, and I'm intrigued by it. But I picked that pattern because I really wanted to have the Trans Love yarn on the same sweater as my self-striping yarn from Always Be Kind yarn, which is a all-inclusive pride flag. So it has all the pride colors, not just the original pride colors. And so I did my swatch, and I ripped some of it out, and then I cut it, but this is what's left of my swatch, and I don't like it. I don't like how short the stripes are. Like, you can't even tell that there's a rainbow. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really... You only get one line of color, maybe two if you're lucky, because of the sweater is supposed to be knit in where you knit every row because you're knitting flat, which is garter. So it's knit in garter stitch. So I realized that I would not like the self-striping knit in garter. So I went ahead and cast on to see what it would look like, and I followed the instructions for the neckband, and then I started knitting following the pattern, and I really like how the stripes are working up now because I can actually see the purple, I can see the blue, I can see the green, just starting with the yellow. However, the way that the stitches look on the back side when you're doing the special stitches, they look amazing if you're using garter stitch, because this wonkiness goes away because 2 rows become 1 in garter. But because I decided to try doing stockinette so that the stripes would look good, I made the special stitches look not good. And so this is going to be ripped out. And after doing this and attempting this, it's not the designer's fault necessarily, but I will never knit this sweater. I'm not gonna make it. I don't like the construction. I don't like the instructions. I'm just not in love with it.
I didn't like the sweater in the first place, so I'm good with it. Go!
I was in love with an image I had in my head of what I wanted it to look like. This image of having a trans-colored one side and a rainbow happening over here that was like the rainbow, and then the black and the brown, and then the blue, pink, and white. Like, I just had that image of that happening on one side and this happening over here, and there's just no way in this pattern for me to have a nice looking sweater and still have my rainbow happening, so it's getting frogged. I am currently considering doing the Bright Axis tee, which has been on my like Q or Radar for ever since it first released, and I own the pattern, so I own the entire book. I don't have it in hard copy, I have it digitally, and we have it in our Kindle library, so I don't have to buy a pattern at all. I just knit off the Kindle. And but that's where I'm leaning at the moment with that sweater. However, I'm so disappointed in the current results that I'm going to be utterly honest. I will not be knitting a Pride sweater this year because I want it to be those yarns and I want it to be that sweater. So I may knit it in December or November, but I will not have something by June because I'm not picking this yarn back up right now because I'm so upset with it. Not the yarn's fault, but I'm upset with what was. Do you ever
Your
have something like?
expectations were not met, and now you are suffering from disappointment.
Well, I had in my head of what I wanted something to look like, and there's no possible way to have the sweater that I wanted, given the yarn that I have, and
It's like having a vision of what you want your hair to look like, and you tell the hairdresser, and when they get done, you're like, you got to wear it for another 2 months before it grows out and you can get it recut. But you're not sharing the same vision of your hair.
No, it just was
your vision of your sweater was not the vision that it turned out.
No, it's not at all. And so
you got a bad haircut.
I did. It was a very bad haircut. It was a very bad haircut. So that's the result of the Shima. Now, because of that, and because of some of what I consider to be lacking things in this pattern, and it's entirely my fault, because of our knit along and the fact that I offered for the Shima sweater to be a double entry because I was planning on knitting it, I'm going to honor that, but I will not be knitting it with y'all. And if you choose not to knit it and you knit something else, that's fine. What I have decided to do instead is, if you knit any pattern that is a short sleeve fingering weight tee, you can knit any top. It doesn't make any difference. I don't care. But if you knit a short sleeve fingering weight top in any pattern, I'm going to give you a double entry. And the reason being is that I know so many knitters who won't wear a fingering weight sweater in the spring or in the summer because they think it's not possible, that it's too hot. And why would you own one? Why would you make one? Well, if you're making a t-shirt and you're making it in worsted weight yarn, of course you're not going to wear it in the summer. That's horrible. And then it's, well, I can't make a fingering weight t-shirt because it takes too long. But I don't think they take that long. I think that...
Baby love,
what?
Your idea of how long something takes and somebody who does not knit while they're working idea of how long it takes, two different ideas.
I know, but I'm
Those
just
who only
saying,
get to knit a couple of hours at night,
I understand that.
that takes a lot of days.
I know it takes a lot of days. I'm just saying that I want to inspire or encourage people to consider making a fingering weight tee. If you don't, no harm, no foul. You still get to enter no matter what top you make. But if you make any fingering weight tee, and I'll probably post it in the notes, and I will probably do a YouTube live, so anybody who is participating. But I am very disappointed in the Shima, I must say. Well, it's probably my expectations, but there were no short rows. There was no way to bring the neck down. It was all up at the top. It didn't have...
It'd be a choker.
It didn't have size inclusivity, which disappoints me as well. And yeah, and it didn't, mostly it didn't fit my vision. So apologies to everyone in that regards. All right, so next I want to talk about this sweater, which I have decided I'm going to put major effort into because I'm so close
and it's so cool
to being done with number 2, so, or section 2, and then we can get moving on. But
it's not going to get major effort until after the sweater for the little girl is done.
Well, that, yeah, we have editing Valerie here. I just wanted to pop in and say that the sweater for the little girl is a Wednesday sweater that is drawn up, and I'm waiting for the yarn to arrive. When that package gets here, I will cast that on, and the West Knits modified shawl into a sweater will take a back seat at that time. I have to wait for the yarn to get here, so while I'm waiting, we'll get into that sweater too. But so this one, I'm going to put more effort into finishing this section. It's the second section of section 1 in the West Knits shawl. I'm making 2 of them. The 2 sections will be my yoke, and then coming down the sleeves, I'm thinking about doing pink, but the more I think about it, the more I think I just want it to be, I think if I put pink in it, I won't wear it as often, as much as I love pink with these colors. So I may just switch, and the rest of the top will be in the light color with just my ribbing and my cuffs, and it probably may even turn into a tee, because honestly, I live in Austin, Texas, and unless I move somewhere else, I have no use for long sleeve sweaters. And it is all fingering weight and not a heavy garment. So you will be seeing a lot more of this in the coming weeks and not of the Shima. And I know I talked about it before, but if you're brand new, the yarns here, the dark color is, what is it? It's in my brain, and it just like it's in and out. Oh, I will put it in the notes below because I can't think of the dyer right now, but I did get it at the yarn shop in New York, which is the Knitting Place NY. And what's the name of a pine tree but not pine?
Fir.
Nope. Spruce. The colorway is called Spruce. It's in her Merino fingering, but I can't think of the denier, but it'll be down below. And the other is, I hand dyed it myself. So the next whip that I'm going to try and put some effort into, and has been getting some love since I finished the 2 sweaters, is the Floodlight Tee. Another excellent option. I am currently making it in fingering held double, but I've had to change my size because my gauge is way off. But you can totally make this in fingering weight, held single. You can do what I'm doing and adjust your gauge. It is actually designed originally for fingering weight in so many rows, and then so many rows in mohair, and then so many rows in fingering, and so many rows in mohair, which makes an incredibly lightweight tee. But I feel that in Texas, mohair in the summer is itchy. I love mohair silk. Jim will tell you, mohair on a sweater is one of my happy places, but mohair
until
in the
it starts
heat,
itching.
Mohair in the heat is not a happy place. But what I'm doing, because I don't have enough of any one color, and I only have these 2 colors in this particular yarn, which is Holst Garn Coast, and the Coast is 50% wool, 50% cotton. And yeah, so I'm gonna see, because people tell me, oh, you can wear a DK weight or sport weight cotton in the summer. It's nice and comfortable. And I found when I was doing some other like practice knitting or swatch knitting that I actually enjoy knitting this held double. I do not enjoy knitting it held single. I'm sorry, it doesn't have the give that wool does. But
because it got cotton in it.
Yeah, but I don't mind it here, so we're gonna see. And I'm just using the different gauge, and I did my math to figure out what size. Anyway, so I have decided that I am going down 2 sizes, and by going down 2 sizes, the sweater will still fit me. It's actually going to be slightly big, but if I go down 3 sizes, it would be slightly too small, and so I would rather be on have some inches of ease than have a negative ease. He would prefer that I would go to the negative ease side, but yeah, not going to happen. Especially in cotton, not going to happen. But
I love you.
the Floodlight Tee is by TedKnitsUK, and it is knit flat for a portion, which I did do, and I have joined in the round. And then you add a button and a buttonhole, and then this gets buttoned when you put it on, so it puts a little bit of a keyhole in the back. I may try and insert her photo. I've knit several of her patterns and find them really easy to follow. And very size inclusive, so kudos to TedKnitsUK for size inclusivity. And that's it for my whips. Do you have any comments on any of them? Anything you're excited for?
Well, I like the one that came from West Knits Shawl.
And then now I want to talk just one couple of minutes on what I want to fix, what I need to fix. So the first one is not a pattern that I follow, but it was actually a raglan I managed to actually knit properly. Actually, if anything, this might be, no, I don't think it is, but it could be the I don't know. Anyway, it's a raglan sweater, but I put it in the dryer accidentally. Like, I didn't know I put it in the dryer, but I put it in the dryer, and I felted the bejesus out of the ribbing and out of the bottom of the sweater.
Does it fit?
No, it's, if I lost a lot of weight, it would fit me fine.
It looks a little short.
It is short, and it is super tight here.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm considering doing is just putting my needles back in here, because this did not felt at all. It's superwash and mohair. It didn't felt at all, but this down here was 100% wool. And cutting this off, but keeping it and turning this maybe into like into fabric, and cutting it and putting it into like a bag or something, like using it for something, because I can't, like, I'm not wearing it, and it's literally fully felted fabric. There's nothing, like, you're not gonna, it's felted.
I would just leave it alone and see where you go on your weight loss journey.
Maybe. So it is
It's
something
very
that
pretty the way it is.
I am considering ripping back out. Or not ripping the whole thing, but going back and finding a different purple and re-knitting this in a different purple.
That's like throwing away spaghetti sauce because you think there's too much garlic in it.
But if you can't eat it, if you can't.
Yeah,
no, I'm not talking about throwing it away. I'm talking
you're
about
talking about
taking this out and re-knitting
it.
this and using this on
Yeah,
some other
alone.
project. Because I can't wear it. I can't wear it. What good is the sweater if you
Leave it
can't wear it?
alone. You can wear it someday. And if
Yeah,
you can't wear it someday, you can give it to somebody who can wear it. But it's beautiful as it is.
Yes.
It does not need monkeyed.
And then this one has to get fixed. Because, well, I want to fix it, but I'm not certain what to do. And I will explain why shortly. So, this fits me here very well. And I'm pretty sure, but not 100%, but I'm pretty sure this was the color play sweater, but I'm not entirely certain. I don't know. I'll have to go look it up. But I love the sleeve. I kind of think I would wear it more, or would like it better if it was longer, but I do like how that has the little puff. I like a lot about this. However, it is massively short for me, and because it's fingering weight held double, that means that this is a winter wear sweater for me, for here. in Texas. You wear this only when it's super cold out.
Yeah.
And
pretty dense fabric.
And so since it's a winter weight, it needs to go down so it will actually cover my back of my the back of me, so air isn't going up under my sweater when I'm wearing it in the winter. Like it's just really once it's on, it's really short. So I used.
If that's supposed to be in that bag, you don't have any more.
I used this held with white at the bottom, but unfortunately, or held with it wasn't this, it was a different color. I don't have any of this color at all, none. But I do have the purple that I held with it, and I have this. So I was thinking if I held these two double right here where it went a little more green, because I think that's what I held here. No, I didn't, so no, I do not have the yarn. So I can't fix it. I don't have any.
You can just keep going purple, going down.
But I don't want it to be all ribbing. I want the ribbing to be less, and I want this to be more. And so maybe I'm going to rip this all out. Just rip it all out. Go back to the beginning. And use this yarn for a fingering weight project that I can actually wear. Because
sounds like a plan.
I have a sweater that I absolutely cannot wear at any time. So
yeah,
keeping it as is just does not make any sense. And I do not have the yarn that I used. Alright, I'm thinking I ran out of yarn, which is why I went to straight purple. But I went way, way, way too soon. And yeah, I would never wear it short sleeve, because why would I wear a DK weight heavy sweater? Like, I just don't see me doing that.
So rip it up. That's a good plan. Reuse the yarn. Make something you will wear.
So those are my, and there's 3 reasons I wanted to share it. One, sometimes in our knitting, things don't work out as we plan. And that does not mean that I don't feel that means that I'm a failed knitter or a bad knitter. It just means that what I intended and what came out were not what I intended, and it is okay to rip it out. It's okay to take sections back. It's okay to choose a different pattern. I don't know that the Shima pattern is a bad pattern. I probably would love to make it adding my short rows before I started in on that whatever, because no, I need short rows. I need my neck to come down. I don't want it up here. But I think that you could make it, if you chose 2 different variegated yarns or 2 different semi-solids or 2 different actual solids, it might be alright. But using self-striping yarn, hoping that you're going to get a good result in that particular sweater, I don't think you can do and have it turn out. So my yarn choice for that pattern was not a win. Alright, that sums, oh wait, one last thing in our knitting. I want to talk about 3 possible patterns, and I want your opinion. 4. So I told you that I really want to cast this green on. I want to have a top in this color. Look how beautiful I will look in that color.
You look beautiful in a lot of colors, you.
I love this color. This will bring me great joy. So I have 3 possible patterns, so one of them is this. Just make this again, fingering weight, not held double, lightweight, using this construction, and just no stripes, just all green. So that's option 1. Option 2 is the big chain by Hintram Stein, which I originally cast on to use linen because that's what it was designed in. I love the construction of it. I think it's cool, but I found I hate knitting with linen yarn.
Not a fan.
So I ripped that bad boy out, and I'm sending that yarn to a beautiful human. In fact, I need to ship it today, so we've got to go and mail that. We're shipping it to California because Valerie is going to California to see family, and shipping to California is much better than shipping to Bolivia.
Yep. And she doesn't wind up getting taxed for it. Man, our friend Verena got hosed royally. She had, what, $50? Well, yeah, Valerie paid it, but the Vienna wanted to charge her like $50 to pick up a gift.
They charged her value-added tax, and they charged her shipping, not shipping, but processing fees and something else. $50 for her to pick up a gift that I sent to Europe. And I'm so sad. Anyway. So, the big chain is by Hintermstein. I'm going to put the picture. So, big chain, Hintermstein. Put it in here. I'm waving at myself to put it in there. And then, option number 2 is the Bright Axis Tee, which is using this yarn, which is making a pride. So I'll have my pride t-shirt. Do I suck out my pride and let go of my hurt feelings over my own whatever and just cast on the Bright Axis Tee? My fear is if I do that, because I'm angry, I won't enjoy the knit.
Well,
so it's still a possibility. So give me your opinions. I want to know what y'all think. Or, again, back with the green, Bright Axis Tee in this, the big chain, or the Umbriel by Sylvia Watts Cherry. And if you don't follow and know who Sylvia Watts Cherry is, you're missing out. Her Instagram is full of joy. Her designs are beautiful. And she mostly does Intarsia. And I got to learn Intarsia from her at the retreat that I got to go to this year. But this particular pattern is not, it's not Intarsia. It's just all one color, and it's just beautiful. And so I'm thinking that this would be beautiful in that, and I might wear it a lot. So I'll show you later, and you can give me, you can go on and comment, so they can comment to you.
Comment to me.
Anyway, what would you prefer? So just so you know, the big chain doesn't have sleeves. It comes like this.
I'd have to see them, but
and then comes like this.
I would have to see them.
And then this one is kind of a sleeves down to here and down, but more of a drapey, not fitted.
Once again, I would have to see them, babies. You're just telling me.
So bring it up here. Bright Axis. I'll do it while you're talking about your stuff. So that's it. So in the comments below, comment with
which one of those 3 you think she should wear.
Correct. And then I did not get anybody asking for help getting the tee pattern or the sweater pattern, the pattern for the crochet. So if you still are interested, Gary is going to be giving away one on his channel. So Gary Knits, Gary Rides, watch his latest podcast and enter over there. And I think that's all the knitting. Now we gotta talk about your stuff, because I want to know. What we're going to talk about, movies and books and
movies, books, people, dinners, diners. Now, okay, first off, happy birthday to my grandson Robert, and happy birthday to my granddaughter Isabel. Isabel is my very first grandbaby, and she's going to be a teenager. Yeah.
Isn't it today or is it tomorrow?
It is tomorrow. Robert's birthday was on Monday. And
so today's the 6th?
Birthday is tomorrow. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Anyway.
Happy birthday, kids. They
happy
don't watch,
birthday, my grandchildren.
Happy birthday anyway.
Oh, they might. You never know. stranger things have happened. They may even watch Stranger Things. Who knows? Anyway, Sunday I went to Denny's to have my last free birthday breakfast. Denny's, you join Denny's club, and they give you a free Grand Slam breakfast anytime during the month of your birthday. And since Sunday was the 30th, it was my last opportunity. So I went to Denny's and I had breakfast while she did her Zoom. And while I was sitting there, I met this gentleman, and he was ex-military. I was ex-military. We visited. He has dementia in his family. I have dementia in mine, so we could understand each other. Had a really great visit and a good breakfast, and thank you very much, Denny's, for facilitating both of those. After that, I went shopping, trying to find some tomato sauce that was not like unrighteously expensive. I did not know that something happened to the tomato crop of the world and they suddenly are endangered. But yeah, $5 for a 32-ounce thing of tomato sauce? Really? Anyway, while I was shopping, I stopped at Dollar Tree because they used to sell a 32-ounce thing of tomato sauce that was tasty, good tomato sauce, for $1. Now it's $1.25. But anyway, so I'm there, I'm looking for tomato sauce, and I see this lady dressed very nicely. And it's Sunday, so I said, do you always dress this nice to go shopping, or is this at after church shopping? She said, it's after church shopping. I said, well, you look very nice. And we visited for a few minutes, and this gentleman came up. And lo and behold, this gentleman was with this lady, and he was looking very nice as well. It turns out that the gentleman's name is Ethan, and the lady's name is Kiki. And we stood there and we visited for probably 15 minutes in the middle of a store, having just met. My wife shakes her head because this shit happens. And she's like,
at least I wasn't
they're strangers. You just walk up to people you don't know and you start talking to them. I said, yes, that's how you get to know people.
Some people don't want you to
You can
walk
tell
up
the
to
people who don't want you to approach them. They're the people who scowl at you and you're like, hey, you want me to slap that off your face? But no, people who smile and you smile at them, they are open to, hi, how are you?
Okay.
Yeah, see? But anyway, we visited for a while and we exchanged phone numbers, and maybe one of these days we will actually go and have a tea or a coffee or sit down with my wife and me and Ethan and Kiki, and we get to visit and get to know each other, because it's always great to have new friends.
That would be nice. I'm not that brave.
On my way to going to Denny's, I fell down the stairs and I dinged me up righteously. And I came back upstairs and did I tear my shirt? And my wife's, what the hell? Well, yeah. See, they resurfaced our concrete here at the our apartment complex. And because the stuff that they refinished this with is slick, they put in aggregate to make it rough. And they put in enough aggregate to turn it into a very good file. It filed the skin right off of my hand and my knee, and it bled and it hurt. And this has been almost a week, and it's still pretty. I'd show you pictures, but they're not pretty. But anyway, I was not having an awesome good day until I met Ethan and Kiki, and that improved my day righteously. So thank you very much, Ethan and Kiki. Tuesday, I went to Flick's Brew House for my free birthday movie, because they give you 30 days from your birthday to the next month's day. So I squeezed in my free birthday go to a movie at Flick's Brew House, and I went and saw Renfield, and there's good and bad reviews on it. If you go in there expecting the wrong thing, you're not going to be happy. If you go in there just to be entertained, you'll be happy, provided you can withstand a certain amount of gore. There is a lot of gore. She could not make it. But the beauty of this movie is it's a Dracula movie in which Dracula is not the star. Renfield is Dracula's assistant, and the story is about Renfield's going from being Dracula's basically slave to going to basically AA or codependence, and finding out that he deserves to not be this, and it shows Renfield's development and his relationship with the cop, and he helps her save the city, and it's really a cool movie. So I recommend go see Renfield. Just be prepared for gore, because there's a lot of gore, and be prepared for a really wild version of Dracula played by Nicolas Cage. If you don't like Nicolas Cage, you will not like this movie. If you like Nicolas Cage, you're going to like this movie. Wednesday, I went to see The Pope's Exorcist. And I thought it was cool that they threw in a little tribute to the original Exorcist by having a girl's head twist on her neck. Because if you saw the original Exorcist, that was a pretty cool special effect for that era. That was a long, long time ago. But they threw in that little tribute. The hardest part of The Devil's Exorcist is the boy that is the star of the show looked very much like my oldest grandson. So that was a little not cool, but okay. But The Pope's Exorcist, really, really good movie. I recommend going and seeing it, or seeing it on pay-per-view, or wait till it's on Netflix or whatever. But give it a view, because its premise is your sins will find you out. But it's not just the individual people's, because each of the individual people's sins is being used against them, but it's also the sins of the church. So it's a really cool movie. I wholeheartedly recommend going and seeing it. Check it out. You will like it. I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3. Good movie. When I share it with my wife, there will be a box of Kleenex handy, because there are several opportunities to get weepy. And at the end of the movie, they just boom, 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 boom. I almost cried. Yeah. So if I almost cried, you guarantee my beautiful darling going to get all kinds of weepy. But it's really good. I went to see it again in 3D, because I have AMC's A-List, so I can go see this movie as many times as I want. I would have to say that the 3D version is the more enjoyable experience. There isn't any funky movements and stuff that's going to make it ooh, but the depth and everything, it was really cool. I enjoyed the movie more in 3D than I did in 2D. Now, if you are like me and you wear spectacles, I wholeheartedly endorse going to zinioptical.com and getting clip-on 3D glasses for your glasses. But if you don't want to get them at Zini, go shopping at Amazon. They will not necessarily fit your glasses the same way, but Amazon sells tons of different 3D. But make sure that you get the right 3D for whatever your predominant screen is. IMAX 3D is not the same as Real D 3D. Just throw that out there. Yesterday was Cinco de Mayo. And here, I've always thought that Cinco de Mayo was supposed to be Mexican Independence Day, just like our 4th of July. And a very good friend of mine who's like a brother, Homero, I send him a text saying, "Hey, bro, what are you doing for Cinco de Mayo?" He's like, "Huh? Oh, I am currently drinking daiquiris. Has nothing to do with Cinco de Mayo. Mexicans don't celebrate that shit." Huh? So we proceeded to chat, and he enlightened me, and then I went and did some further investigating online. Turns out that Cinco de Mayo is the Mexican version of St. Patrick's Day. Irish don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day. It's just basically a non-thing in Ireland, except for tourists. And they do some shit for the tourists because it's money. St. Patty's Day is the day that all the white people get to pretend they're Irish. Cinco de Mayo is the day that all the white people get to pretend that they're Mexicans. And they drink a lot of tequila, and they eat Mexican food, and they think they're great. Cinco de Mayo is actually celebrating a victory against the French in a town called Pueblo, not Colorado. And the only place that really gives two shits about Cinco de Mayo in Mexico is Pueblo. The rest of the country, yeah, that's a day that happened. Yay. They really care about Mexican Independence Day. And Mexican Independence Day is, I believe it's in September. I don't remember. Yeah, September 16th. That's the day that the Mexicans really care about because that was their Independence Day. Cinco de Mayo, not so much. It's kind of like, did you know that there is actually a day, March 29th, is Vietnam War Veterans Day. Not everybody's dead, especially for the survivors and the members of the Vietnam War. Vietnam War veterans. That's a day to honor them. I did not know that day even existed. So it'd be about the same thing. Nobody celebrates it because nobody cares, nobody knows, but it's a holiday. Next time when you want to go out for Cinco de Mayo, maybe go out May 4th and do the Star Wars, May the 4th be with you. That's actually a thing, people. Trust me. Google it. Stores have specials and whatnot because it's May the 4th be with you. Some people just like puns. That would be my baby.
So is that all you have?
Pretty much.
Editing Valerie here. I just wanted to let you know that this next section I do get a little political. It's involving a book I'm reading and current events and the fact that we need to do better. Feel free to skip it, skip ahead, or catch us later. I tried cutting it out, but should not try to upset people, but I decided I don't want to. I'm just going to keep it in because it's important.
Pretty much.
I want to talk a little about the books for 1 minute.
Yes,
Can I share mine?
You can share yours.
Okay, so I am still reading Asada. I must say that I had a really, really, really hard time. I only read or listened to one chapter this week. But it was really, really hard. I don't know where to start with this. I guess what I'm going to say is I'm angry at our media, at our government, at our, police, whatever you want to call it, that we can incarcerate someone without just because they stand up and say this isn't right. You know what I mean? Like, it makes me very sad how many people of color have been incarcerated in this country for crap that shouldn't be. Currently, right now, there's a kid who, well, he's not a kid anymore, but he was a kid, who was sentenced to 65 years in prison because a cop killed his buddy and shot him in the back. Like, how, as a society, how can we not be enraged? How can we, and I don't know that any of these people who currently are on the other side of the fence, who are supporting the crazies, as I call them, how they are, I don't know if they would even read Asada in the first place.
Probably not. But
even if they would read it, would they even have any compassion for Asada? My heart breaks for her. Anyway, I want to keep reading it, and because I think it's important that I know the truth, but I also emotionally can't take too much of it at any time. So what I do is I follow it up with ink and sigil. And thank you, Kevin Hearn, for having the sense of humor that you do.
He's still working on the next book.
I know.
He posted that on Facebook today.
So good.
If you have checked out any of the Kevin Hearn books, feel free to go to Facebook and follow him. Then you get little tidbits telling you what he's doing.
Just an absolute brilliant human. Absolutely a brilliant human. And yeah, I'm absolutely enjoying it. And I can't remember the name of his Luke Daniels. I think it's Luke Daniels who is his narrator for Ink and Sigil and for the other ones. And I must say, he does a great job in letting you really know who it is by his voice. He does a great job with
All the
voices,
different characters.
different voices.
Now, my wife has suggested that I read books because I have been known to utilize various
Okay,
voices and accents in my
right now,
joke telling.
I want you just say anything in I want you to be Cajun. Just a sentence. Be Cajun.
No,
Just,
I don't do anything on demand. It just doesn't work that way.
Yes, you can, because I can say, please tell the joke about the guy, and you'll do it.
Well, yeah, that's because it's a joke, and I have that joke memorized from having told it for the last 20 years.
Okay, so without saying the whole joke, tell the joke without finishing it, about Scotland.
The leprechaun?
Yeah, just start it. Don't go any further. Just the first line.
The first line isn't anything. The first line is a priest goes golfing in Scotland.
No. Okay, well, not that. Say the line by the leprechaun.
He shoots the ball off into the rough, and he's like, "Well, I don't have very many balls. I had to save up for this trip. I better go get that." And he goes out into the bushes to find his ball, and he finds this little tiny guy with a knot on his head and a golf ball next to him. He goes, "Oh my God, did I kill him?" And he's down. He's little man, trying to wake him up. And the leprechaun wakes up and, "Where's me gold? Where's me gold?" He says, "What gold?" He says, "Where's me pot of gold?" And he says, "Your gold is right there." He says, "You didn't try to steal me gold?" He says, "Well, no, I'm a priest. I wouldn't do that. That's not right. I'm very sorry I hit you with my golf ball. If you're okay, I'm just going to take my ball and I'm going to take 2 strokes and I'm going to drop it out over there." "Yeah, okay, you didn't steal me gold?" "No, I didn't steal your gold." So the guy goes out and he continues golfing, and the leprechaun watches him. "Man, this guy really sucks. He is very bad at golf. He didn't steal me gold. I should do something nice for him. Look at his ratty clothes."
Okay, don't go any further. That's good enough.
Anyway, she suggests that I start reading books for adults using the cache of voices that I can on occasion come up with. So give your thoughts on that.
I think you would be a great narrator.
Think of a book that you may want to hear me narrate with voices for the cast. And I had a gentleman that when I was working in my garage and storage unit, he gave me some vital assistance, and his name's Will. And Will gave me a suggestion because I don't get to spend time with my grands like I like to, and my youngest ones really haven't gotten any kind of relationship with me. He said I should start doing little videos, YouTube videos, just talking to my grands or reading them a book. I said, that's a good idea. So I'm thinking about reading children's books like The 3 Bears, which I discovered The 3 Bears is really pretty wild. If you actually Google The 3 Bears, and you will find out that there are several different renditions of The 3 Bears from over the years, where Goldilocks was once upon a time a good girl and helpful in the original version, and the bears loved her and came to live with her and her grandma. And the bears helped them out, and she helped the bears out. That's not how the modern Goldilocks that I know goes. Over the course of time, Goldilocks became a villain. So, anyway, tell me what book you would like me to read to you, and tell me what book you think would be good to be a story time with Papa, where somebody's grandpa is reading them a story, maybe a bedtime story. It can't
still be under copyright, though, unless you can reach out to the actual author and
ask them. Do check and make sure that the story time with Papa is not under copyright. Even if it's I could read any book I want to, as long as I attribute who the author is.
No, we have to. If it's still under copyright, you have to have permission from the author.
I don't know about that. I have to search because that would really kill your plan for me reading books.
No, because there's a method to my madness, but
Yes,
it's all
dear.
good.
Anyway, let me know what you would like to hear, what you would like me to read. She wanted me to sing a song. I do not sing a song very often, and I definitely don't sing a song without guitar. You can see some of my stuff. It's on the. She's put it up on the YouTube.
Can't see Wyoming from here.
My dear friend Les, who has passed,
Oh dear.
loves that song. Every time I saw Les, he wanted me to play Can't See Wyoming from Here. I wrote that sitting on a porch in El Cajon, California, because I could not see Wyoming from there. I was feeling a bit lonely.
I'm heading for Houston.
I wrote that song when my
Maybe
wife and I were
even
supposed to be
to
working a
Austin,
pipeline
too.
in Houston.
I drive to El Paso to get over you.
I love you.
Me
So
too.
there are a lot of songs, and if you would like, let me know, and perhaps you should go and listen to some of the songs that are already out there, and let me know if you want me to play a song. We may actually throw a song
I would
in.
love for you to have it end it with just a little bit, even not even a full song, just a. That would make me super happy. I miss you singing.
I love you.
I miss it a lot.
So y'all let me know. You want to see me? You want to see Fishing Cowboy instead of Papa? Let me know. Fishing Cowboy might just break out his guitar and let my
That would be
Takamine
pretty
talk.
awesome. I love you.
I love you. You are my beautiful. Anything else beautiful?
I'm trying to think if there was anything else.
We're at 50.
Everyone is at, I know it's way more than that, but everyone that's at Maryland Sheep and Wool and all my friends miss you. I'm so happy that you're all together. Well, a lot of you are together. I hope you have fun, and I hope I get to see you on Tuesdays.
Books. We left that book. I just finished
your
Ranger's Journey, and it's a book by Jacob Peppers. And I like Jacob. Jacob is a great guy and a great author. He is very versatile, writes about a lot of stuff. He's got a lot of books in his catalog. Go check him out. Ranger's Journey is book 4 in the Last Eternal series, and it has a whole different twist on magic and gods and people perceived as gods and whatnot. It starts, the first book is The Wandering Sword. So if you want to check it out, Jacob Peppers, The Wandering Sword, starts the series, and it works its way through as the Last Eternal battles all these people who killed all the other Eternals. And he battles them one at a time, and each book is one of these people that he is battling. So this book was book 4, and he was fighting with the Ranger, so this is The Ranger's Journey. Highly recommend it. Good stuff. And fairly well edited. It's not anywhere near the hot mess
Atrocity.
that most of the DK Holmberg's is. And I might have to start calling DK Holmberg Double Knit just because.
Double knit.
Okay.
Anyway,
Hey, I think that's funny.
that is funny.
I bet DK
That's
wouldn't
right.
think it's funny,
He has
but
no idea what double knit is, but it's funny.
he might, and if you don't, he knows how to Google.
This is true.
You know, if you don't know what something is, Google it, but don't believe the very first thing that you get. Because some people just write fake news because they want to. Speaking of fake shit, Snopes, S-N-O-O-P.
Is it still out there, Snopes?
Yep, Snopes. Snopes, whatever they want. I think they call themselves Snopes, but they look like Snoops. It is a Mythbuster site where they take all these urban legends and all the crap that gets circulated on chainmail, and they actually call people and they try and research and find out what's the truth on this. So anytime you hear some outlandish claim or somebody sends you something that says forward this, or one of your friends on Facebook says, yeah, this is happening, and if you don't do this, the whole world is going to come and ask you for $1. Snopes will tell you whether it's true or not. Sometimes you will be amazed at what is actually true. Check them out. That's all for me. That's all for you.